Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today we have a ranked perfumers portfolio video. I've only ranked one of these so far, and it was on the great Gerard Anthony. And so I want to continue with this trend of ranking the perfumers portfolio videos that I've done. Also, there are some bottles that I forgot to include in the first go around of this one, and this is going to be on one of my favorite perfumers of all time, period. End of story. I absolutely love her work. I think she has been so influential, and to be quite honest, I would love to see a collaboration between someone like Annick Menardo, who this video is going to be on, and Frederic Malle, or even maybe like let her get the keys to the kingdom of a high-end niche brand and just see what she can do, you know, because her style is extremely alluring, even for someone like me who, you know, likes the more complex, challenging scents. The way that she uses this resinous, benzoin, ambery bases are just, this oriental bases that she uses are just stunning. And I'll tell you a little bit about her. She is ultimately considered now a master perfumer, and she deserves that title. And she worked at Firmenich and joined it in 1991. So she's been around for a while. And the great Annick Menardo is how she really should be referred to from now on. But apparently she has a background in a wide base of sciences such as biochemistry and medicine. And she pursued perfumery as her subject of study and is a graduate of the French Perfume Academy, ISIPCA, which is like the most prestigious perfume school, I believe. I think she's currently with Symrise, okay? So I don't think she's with Firmenich anymore. She also worked at Creations Aromatiques, and she was mentored by the great Michel Almerac, who is also one of my favorite perfumers of all time. He's got some amazing gems. Can't wait to rank his work one day, but I did a perfumers portfolio on video on him already. You can check it out, but I haven't ranked my favorites from, you know, least to highest. And to that point, I should mention that it's really tough to rank fragrances from a perfumer that you really love, because something has to be in the back, something has to be in the front. And I am not saying what's number 6 is worse than number 1. These are strictly my personal tastes. It's like picking a favorite color, okay? Do you like this color blue or not? Right? That's the way that the ranked lists go. These are just my taste and how I found them in wearing them. And, you know, even though she may have something at 6 or 7, her 6th or 7th fragrance, or 8th or 9th, might be better than 90% of the other perfumers, 1 or 2. So keep that in mind. Don't think because something is at the back of the list for me that you should skip it. Absolutely not. Everything from Annick Menardo deserves to be uncovered and explored. But first, I've got some little goodies that came in the mail today. Oh, does that have an address on it? No, it doesn't. Okay, I was like, wait a minute. I don't want to give the address away. It's on the other side. This is actually sent to me by my good friend Shiva, who you'll see in the comments down below. And this is a sample set. He bought a sample set recently, and he said, I bought 2. I bought 1 for you, Ramsey, because I want to hear you talk about this brand. I said, it's very kind of you, mate. Thank you. So honestly, the generosity from the Fragcom has been so overwhelming. It's been hard for me to keep up. But I promise I will get to these. If anybody ever sends me anything, just know I will get to them. So a quick unboxing. This is Rania J's entire sample set. Very cool stuff, because I've only had a chance to talk about 1 so far, and that 1 fragrance was Oud Assam. I actually did a video, and there's a Rania J playlist already up, because I planned on talking about more. Someone sent me, I think it was the Amber, and it might have been Will. I can't remember. I think Will said it was his favorite Amber. It was this one, Ombre Loup. So this gives me even more juice to play with and talk about. Look at that beautiful golden juice color. I'm a sucker for juice color, man. Let's see. Yeah, so I got the whole line now to talk about. So many fragrances in the line. I know that I know that I listened a little bit to Shiva talk about this line on a live stream Rich Mitch did, and he said they wore very light on him. So I'll be curious to see how this wears. This is Lavende 44, his lavender fragrance. This is Queer Andalou. This is the one I really was excited to try, the leather. This is Rose Ishtar, his rose fragrance, obviously. At least I think Rania J is a male. I honestly don't know. If it's a woman perfumer and I'm mistaken, let me know. But I think it's a guy, but I'm not sure. That I don't know. I'm not very familiar with the house, other than I know of it. Musks Moschus, which is the musk fragrance. And Jasmine Kama, which is obviously the jasmine. And we already talked about Ombre Loop, which I'm really excited to try. Tea Habanero. I know this got a lot of hype in the fragrance community over the last couple years, but I haven't smelled any of these other than this Eau de Sam. Eau de Sam's the only one from the line I've had a chance to smell. So, yes, and I did enjoy it, but I don't think I enjoyed it enough to make it a full bottle wear. But we will see. We'll see what comes of it. Or a full bottle buy, I should say. But go check out my video on Oud Assam if you're interested in learning more about the line. So let me put these back. And let's see, where do you want to live? You can live right here for now till I get to you. Okay, so there's a couple of these actually. And this package came all the way from Sweden. And so this package came from Sweden. This was sent, and I'm sure that I think the person wants to remain anonymous. So I'll just say that thank you very much to my perfume god people. But a little package, a little care package of more samples for Ramsey to talk about on the channel. Oh, you know, a wealth of samples to discuss. My cuppeth overfloweth. Thank you to everyone who sent me stuff, honestly. It is very, very kind of you, seriously. So let's see what I got. Side Effect by Initio, which I do have a little bit of this juice. So now I have even more to talk about. I will talk about Side Effect, I promise. I know I've given Initio a hard time, and probably rightly so, because I think the brand is not the best brand, let's say, but I think Side Effect is their most popular fragrance. Special for Gentlemen by Les Galions. I don't know anything about this fragrance. Nothing. Zilch. Let's see. Special for Gentlemen by Les Galions. Let's see. Let's just take a look. Special for Gentlemen. 2014. Spicy and powdery. Interesting. Castoreum in the base. That's a good sign. Always a good sign. And then we have Ombra Nera by Pharmacia SS Annunciatia. Ooh, sure I butchered that bad boy. I know nothing about Ombre Nera. Let's look it up. Ombre Nera. Pharmacia SS Annunciatia. I'm hopeless on pronunciations. Cypress and eucalyptus. The rare eucalyptus sighting with amber, benzoin, vetiver, vanilla, and patchouli, compared to Fiore di Ambra by Parfumum Roma. Very interesting. Ambra Fetiche by Goutal. Here's one that I am very excited in smelling. I hear great things about that one. Noir d'Orient by Eau-de Parfums. Are you guys familiar with this? Noir d'Orient. I'm not. This is all new stuff for me for the most part. I mean, I know Ambra Fetiche. I know of it. I don't think I've ever smelled it. d'Orient. Body Parfums. Noir d'Orient. Ah, here we go. 2014, Spicy Oriental. Interesting. Rum, frankincense, bay leaf, amber, patchouli, clove, cinnamon, sandalwood, tonka. Very interesting. Let's see what else we got in here. Irreverent by Histoire de Parfum. Okay, so I actually have this on the list. I have a little 2 ml vial, so this gives me even more of a reason to put that at the front of the line to chat about. Noir Pieces by Frederick Ball. Okay, so I almost blind bought. I will be getting a full bottle of this, but this even gives me a little bit of juice to talk about before the full bottle gets here. But Noir Pieces is very close to the top of my wish list. Rum and Tabak by Comptoir Sud Pacific. So I know this brand, but I don't think I've ever smelled anything by the brand, if that makes sense. Rum and Tabak, 2016, spicy gourmand with rum and tobacco and cinnamon and cardamom and patchouli. Interesting. Les Participes Passés by Serge Lutens. One of the few Serge Lutens I haven't had a chance to smell. So this is exciting stuff. I love the house of Uncle Serge. Huge fan. Let's see what other goodies we got in here. There's a bunch of stuff in here. Usmar Venezia by Ceresci Nel Acqua. Man, I don't even know these brands. This is crazy. Let's see. Usmar Venezia 2014. Wow, the note listing is very interesting. Peru balsam, resins, castoreum, oud, patchouli, myrrh, Turkish rose, Sichuan pepper. That sounds like it's right up my alley. Atelier Marrakesh by the same brand. Ceresci Nel Acqua. Atelier Marrakesh. This sounds really familiar. I think I've seen someone talk about this Atelier Marrakesh. Raspberry, thyme, saffron, jasmine, frankincense, ambergris, sandalwood, oud, and leather. My kind of note breakdown. Myrrh Casada by Mona Diorio. You know, this house has continued to impress me. I wish I could find the vintage bottles. I wish I could find the old bottles, but alas, I'll be excited to dive into it. Queer Cuba by Nicolas Parfumer. So Jonathan was actually talking about Queer Cuba on his second video that he did on his channel. Again, if you haven't subscribed to Jonathan 1970, go do it. Go subscribe. I would highly recommend it. Alvis by Gritti. Let's see. Alvis 2016. Do you guys know this house? Gritti. Spicy, woody, cistus labdanum, leather, whiskey, patchouli, vetiver, sandalwood, gaiac wood, styrax, vanilla, and musk. Interesting. My kind of note breakdown, though. Santal Nabatia by Mona Diorio. Okay, so I actually have a... Armando sent me a travel atomizer of this bad boy, and this is an amazing sandalwood. I'll tell you right now. I have had a chance to smell that, and it is amazing. So that'll give me even more impetus to give that a wear. Upper 10 by Luban. I actually have a full bottle of this. I have a full bottle, and I will be talking about it very soon. I do really like that fragrance. Horizon by Oriza El Legrand. I haven't smelled anything by that brand, I don't think. This apparently, though, came out in 1925. This is a really old release. Earthy and woody. This Oriza El Legrand, I need to look into. And you know I'm a big sheepra, or a big sheep lover. I'm a lover of sheep. And this Oriza El Legrand has a very famous sheepra that I need to check out. It's on my to sniff list. It's on my sheep sniff list. Okay, and then we also have Quoio Nobile. Man, I don't even know these. I feel so out of touch here. Quoio Nobile by Pinnider. I don't even know this house. You guys know this one? 2012, leathery and spicy, but it sounds like it's right up my alley, man. And then we've got Aesthete by that same Les Gallion house. Let's see, AES 2015. Animalic leather. Aha. I think these are targeted to me. The Oddfellow Bouquet by Atkinson's. The Oddfellow Bouquet. Never heard of it before in my life. Spicy and sweet, heliotrope, dark tobacco, benzoin, labdanum, ginger, pepper. Interesting. Casbah. Okay, this has been on my full bottle list forever and a day as well. Casbah is probably the #1 incense on my full bottle list that I don't have a full bottle of right now. It's supposed to be like this smoky, spicy incense with iris and tobacco. And I'm a big fan of iris and tobacco and incense fragrances in general. Queer by Les Gallions. So same house we were talking about earlier, but this time it is Queer, and this one came out in 2015, and it's ambergris, elemi, white lily, bergamot, musk, and sandalwood. Very interesting. Thank you very much. Seriously, I need to find a little home for these samples to sit in while they await trial. But I have a couple more. I actually have some. I've got some full bottles. And so let me open these. I actually don't know which one's which, but I'm very excited about one of these because I think, if it is what I think it is, this is one that there's a story behind. Not as big of a story as Rich Mitch's long lost fragrance haul from England, but nonetheless, big story that I've been waiting for. Let's see if this is it. Okay, so this is actually, wow, this is very, very kind of him. I can't remember if this guy wanted to remain anonymous or not, so I'm just gonna leave his name out, but thank you. You know who you are. This is very unexpected, actually. I was expecting a sample. This is 21 Conduit Street. I love this house, by the way. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 full bottles. And he actually wrote, he actually wrote on the packaging, better than Jubilation 25, ? So 21 Conduit Street from Javoy came out a couple years ago, and it's supposed to be this green citrusy fragrance, and it's the address of the store at Javoy's store in London, Javoy's London store. Oh God, it does smell amazing from the atomizer. And this has a couple notes that actually Jonathan and I were talking about on the live stream. #1 note that he was really gunning for, that he's been looking for, was rhubarb. And 21 Conduit Street has a rhubarb, and I love these bottles. Everything about these Javoy bottles are premium. Everything. You know, the glass is serious glass. It almost feels like crystal. The cap is heavy as all get out. If you threw this at someone's head, you'd knock them out. The atomizer is amazing. The quality of the juice is high class, but you don't pay, you know, they're not hitting you for Roja money, even though they could. It's very reasonably priced. You can find these for, you know, 150. I actually found at Maximum Fragrances in Canada, I found my bottle of L'Enfant Terrible for $100. And what a steal that one was for $100. That's one of the best sandalwood, you know, if you like the way that Serge Lutens and Christopher Sheldrake and Pierre Bourdon teamed up to create Feminine du Bois. If you love Feminine du Bois, many perfumers say that's like, you know, the fragrance they would make if they could make a fragrance, if you gave them a chance to make a fragrance. Many of them list Feminine du Bois. I would say L'Enfant Terrible is in that realm, but even more intense. And you know, if you miss Feminine du Bois from the 90s, from the Shiseido version, which I haven't had a chance to smell yet, but Rich Mitch tells me it's much more thicker and denser, and the Feminine du Bois in the Serge Lutens bottle is much thinner, then check out L'Enfant Terrible. But it is discontinued, I think, from Javoy. But thank you, my friend. You know who you are. Oh, I can't wait to wear this, man. Okay, and then I've got one more. And this is the one I'm thinking, I think I know what this is. Because this was a hassle to get to me. I hope this is what it is. I hope this is what I'm thinking it is. Come on, baby. Open up. Okay. Okay, here we go. You bastard. It's a box in a box. All of those samples that I very nicely set aside just all fell off the table. Okay, whatever. I'll mess with you later. Are you what I think you are? Yes, you are what I think you are. Okay, here we go, baby. Here we go. Let's go. You're finally home. Oh, how I've waited for you. She had to come all the way from Poland. And again, I don't remember if the fairy god woman who transferred this to me wants to remain anonymous. Oh, it's definitely legit. Someone got me worried and said, I hope it's not a fake. And I was like, I've never seen a fake Ombre Eternal. But so, long story short, this is discontinued, okay? This is a discontinued Guerlain called Ombre Eternal. And it's actually one of my favorite from the line. Maybe even my favorite. Bois Mysterio, or the old Sange d'un Bois d'Et, if you will, challenges this for the top spot. Encens Mythique challenges this for the top spot. But Ombre Eternal really kind of stole my heart whenever I have a 5 ml decant, and I have a 10 ml decant. But long story short, it came out in 2016. It instantly got discontinued like a year later. And I think it's because it has a high dose of ambergris in the opening. And Thierry Vassar, who's the perfumer, claims that they used a big chunk of real ambergris in this line. And it opens up very, you hear the word, or you read the word amber and you're expecting a big amber fragrance. It's not. It's actually an ambergris that dries down to a leather with some of that Middle Eastern style amber in the base, okay? So it's not focused on the amber as much as the ambergris, the spices, the leather, okay? And I love this, fell in love with it. Couldn't find a bottle, okay? And so my fairy god person from across the sea, you know, if you're comfortable being, you know, outed, leave a comment and I'll give you a big thank you down below. But she basically bought a bottle for me and I sent her the money and she sent it from Poland and it got flagged. It got scooped up by the Nazi postal service. And, you know, it seems to be a trend in Europe where they just will not allow fragrances to come over. They just won't do it. They flag them. They confiscate them. And she's like, it's confiscated, and it's been like a month, and they haven't even returned the bottle yet. She's like, you know what I'll do? There's another one that just popped up in Poland for sale. I will buy the bottle for you, and then when the other one comes back, I'll just sell it. Bless her for saving me. This must be a 2018 bottle. So it must have run for at least 2 years, 18 B01. But man, this is a gem. So hard to find. Thank you. I'm stoked. There's also some samples. Shocking by Schiaparelli. Shocking is supposed to be shocking. And it also is the bottle that Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Male basically took inspiration of for his bottle, which we'll talk about in one of our Annick Menardo videos, which I know we're 26 minutes in. We haven't even talked about an Annick Menardo, but we will very soon, I promise. So let me put shocking away. This is the modern. I hear that the vintage is even crazier, but it's a 5 ml. Thank you. More than enough for me to get to know it and chat about it. And then look at this. An Iquitos Mini. Didn't even know these things existed. I've got a 50 and I've got a 100 ml Iquitos, but look at this little beauty. I absolutely love Iquitos, by the way. One of the, oh God, so distinct. Such a distinct smell. Literally, I mean, one of the best Gerard Anthony creations of all time. I'm a huge Iquitos fan, and I mean, I am very glad that Poison for Dior became Poison, and this lost out to it, but this was almost a feminine fragrance. Ended up being marketed towards men, and men everywhere love it. What is this? Click Song. I don't know what this is. What are you? Click Song. Never heard of it. Anyone know Click Song? Anyone know this? Brought to the world by the great Miriam. Wow, interesting. I am completely ignorant of this. Never heard of it. See, that's the thing about the fragrance world. There's so many fragrances out there that it is absolutely impossible to keep up with everything. But as you can see, I'm stoked about these hauls. Thank you to everybody who sent me stuff. This honestly deserved its own video instead of just being tagged onto. I didn't realize how much was here. But it deserved its own video as an unboxing. But it's going to get tagged onto the Annick Menardo ranked perfumers portfolio video. So let's get into it. We'll make it a double header. So, first of all, as far as Annick Menardo's fragrances go, if you search for her in the search engines, like if you go to parfumo.net and just click on Annick Menardo, you're going to get her fragrances, and it's always ranked by popularity. And the #1 fragrance for her, without a doubt, as far as popularity in the world goes, is my least favorite fragrance, okay? So this is going to be a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This will be a top 12. So at number 12, my least favorite Annick Menardo, and the only one on this list that I only have a little baby sample like this to just show you off, but I will do a video on this. I'm gonna wear it and do a video on it one day. It's Boss Bottled. So if you know me, you know that my favorite Boss fragrances are everything before this. 1998, this came out, and it was like the downfall of Hugo Boss, okay? For me, as a vintage connoisseur who loves vintage fragrances, you know, Hugo Boss #1, one of my favorite fragrances of all time, top 10. Favorite honey. I would say Boss Sport is one of my favorite sport fragrances of all time. Very hard to find, very unique, beautiful 80s fragrance. And then in the late 80s, they came out with Boss Spirit, which is one of the most amazing contrasts of green at the top, dark green, you know, lots of green, tarragon and basil, and it almost has this cannabis-like vibe. It's so earthy, dark green, you know, Artemisia, contrasted with this leathery undertone, masculine 80s leather. And you know, for a house that just took off at first, I mean, literally just like a rocket ship. They shot out of the gate, you know, humming. And then they came out with Boss Bottled, and then all they started to do was flankers. Boss Bottled Intense, Boss Bottled Oud, Boss Bottled this, Boss Bottled that, you know, and I was like, this is not my thing at all. I own 0 Boss Bottled bottles, if that makes sense. But the reason is it has this apple pie-like accord. Interestingly enough, there is an apple note in Hugo Boss #1. Many people don't realize that, but Boss, you know, they use that apple note before. It's not something new, that green apple note. But here she mixed it with plum and lemon and clove, mahogany, cinnamon, which is very prominent. It's this, you know, almost like Christmassy apple pie-like fragrance, and I really don't like it. It's sweet. It's got a lot of vanilla in the base. And the most popular fragrance by Annick Menardo worldwide is my least favorite fragrance to wear, and that is Boss Bottled. But again, I will do a video on this one day soon. Number 11. Number 11 is a very good fragrance. Again, very hard to rank this list. I'm going by taste, and this is a very unique fragrance. It has some insane notes, okay? It's got things like kumquat. There's a green cactus note in this fragrance. It's very peppery, and it dries down to a beautiful woody, that 90s woody cedarwood feel. It's compared to Davidoff's Hot Water, which I've never smelled before. You know, and it might be because of the bottles. They're both this red bottle. But at number 11, it's going to be Xeryus Rouge. And this is a vintage bottle, and it is amazing. I will say that. This is a great fragrance. It's particularly great for summer. The reason that it's here and not any higher is that this is a playful fragrance to me. It's a little bit juvenile. This is what I would consider someone in their 20s, in the mid to late 90s would wear. I would still consider someone in their 20s to wear it based on the DNA, because it does have this playful vibe to it with the strange, you know, kumquat and cactus, and it is very unique. There is that. But I think many 20-year-olds now would consider this maybe a little bit out of date, which I don't care. You know, I don't care about dating or popular fragrances. I don't care if I'm wearing something that's in style or out of style. I wear stuff for me, and that's the reason I wear fragrances. And this easily could be number 1 on someone's list. That's the only thing, is that any of these are really interchangeable when you get into it. But I'm putting it at number 11. Mostly I like to wear this in the summer. And I've noticed that when I wear it, I always am like clamoring for more. You know what I mean? Like I want something deeper and darker. And that's how many of the summer fragrances are for me. It does have a nice woody dry down. I will wear it and talk about it more. But for me, this comes in only 1 notch higher than Boss Bottled. Okay, number 10. Number 10 is a fragrance that, again, is kind of a discontinued, hard to find fragrance that has shot up in price lately. You know, do not pay $300 for this fragrance is what I'll tell you. If you can find a bottle for $100, maybe, because that's like double the fragrance that is close to this that I'll tell you about once we start chatting about it. But this is from Jean-Paul Gaultier, and it's called Kokorico. And so you can kind of see the head. the masculine head. And what's interesting about this bottle is if you turn it this way, you get the outline of the Jean Paul. You get the side view of the Jean Paul Gaultier, you know, masculine bottle that I was telling you about. Have you ever seen a Le Male bottle with that torso? So this is like supposed to be the side view. How about that? Very unique bottle. And this fragrance is a collaboration between Annick Menardo and Olivier Cresp. And it's basically fig leaf in the top with cacao and patchouli and vetiver and cedarwood in the base. And it smells very similar to a popular Guerlain fragrance, which is this. L'Instant de Guerlain. Okay? So the problem is that you can buy the new Eau de Parfum in the Listerine bottles, and God, I love this fragrance, and you'll pay $50 for it, okay? So this is $200-300 because it's discontinued now, and I don't think it's worth that. Now, if you can pay $100 for this, yeah, I think if you're a collector and you want something kind of cool and different, but man, this smells very close to L'Instant de Guerlain. In fact, I prefer L'Instant de Guerlain over Kokorico, just my personal opinion. The fig in the top just does brighten this up a little bit, but I prefer the notes here in Lidge. And so, I absolutely love Lidge. It is so good. And that's my problem with this. That's the reason why it's at number 10 and not higher. If I knew nothing about Lidge, if I never smelled Lidge, or even, you know, something in the same DNA, would be something like this. Nasomatos Pardon. This supposedly has oud in it, whereas these don't. But honestly, it's a very similar DNA. Heavy patchouli. And I am a patchouli lover, and that's what makes this so hard, is that on scent alone, this could easily be higher. But because of this, okay, and I don't know when Pardon came out. Let's take a look, just out of curiosity. Pardon came out in 2011 as well. So it came out the same year as Kokorico. Interestingly enough, that's an interesting fact. I did not know that these two came out in the same year. But I can see the DNA being very similar. And they're kind of chasing Guerlain's L'Instant de Guerlain to me. And so I would probably, you know, just stick with this little bad boy. And don't pay big money for the discontinued bottle. Guerlain is notorious for changing bottles. Just get whatever the newest one is. But try to get the Listerine bottle, maybe. Don't get the new ones that have the L'Homme Ideal square bottle, because I've heard bad things. Now, the thing about it is, it may be a situation where there's just not enough air in the bottle yet, and it will improve over time, but I know that the Listerine bottles are good. But yeah, this is the problem with Kokorico. It's a great fragrance, fantastic designer, an amazing bottle, but it's kind of more of a collector's item now because Lidge makes it a little bit useless. So, okay, next on the list. We are going to talk about number 9, and it's a YSL. And you know what? This fragrance is something special because it's probably one of the best designer uses of eucalyptus I've ever smelled. Now, niche eucalyptus leader for me goes to Royal Mayfair by Creed, which I just did a ranked Creed list. You can go check that out. I ranked all of my Creeds in order from my least favorite to my most favorite. And, you know, I know Creed is a controversial house, but if you've never smelled Royal Mayfair, it is an amazing eucalyptus fragrance. And this is one such fragrance as well, but it's completely different in smell from the Creed Royal Mayfair, and it's called Body Kouros. Now, here's the thing. This is the older style bottle with the crazy stand that doesn't stand very well, but it does. And the top that actually comes off. The new bottles look like a Kouros bottle, and they moved body, instead of Body Kouros, it's now Kouros Body. They put body down below. But it looks like a Kouros bottle with the built-in sprayer, but instead of white, like a Kouros bottle, it's this color. And this is basically a sweet, spicy type fragrance with eucalyptus and frankincense in the top. The frankincense is beautiful. Mace and Chinese cedar in the heart. And this fragrance is really all about the base. And the base is this resinous, deep, swirling benzoin. All right. And Annick Menardo's signature DNA, to me, is this perfect oriental benzoin accord. There is this camphor wood note in the base, which is interesting because eucalyptus gives off a camphor-like vibe in and of itself. And, but I'll tell you what, as far as like an easy to wear, as far as like an easy to wear designer, this is fantastic for the cooler weather. This is, the only thing about this that might put you off if you're into the vintage fragrances like I am, is it might put you off because of the fact that it is sweet. All right, but the thing that I've noticed with Annick Menardo's creations is when she does sweet, it never seems like overkill. It never seems like it's too much. It never seems like the fragrance is trying too hard, and it never offends me. It never makes me feel like it's childish. Yes, it's sweet to an extent, but the way that she does it allows it to be wearable to someone like me who loves the old school masculines, okay? So, Body Kouros by YSL comes in at number 9. Number 8. Number 8. Number 8 is this little bad boy. Azzaro's Visit. Now, here's the thing about Visit, is it is officially discontinued, and I know there's different versions of Azzaro's Visit, okay? So, but I'm not going to harp on that because I think this is the most recent version, and I love it. So I wouldn't harp on reformulation with this. I think they did a decent job, although people have told me that, you know, the older stuff was better, but I've never actually experienced it. So I am happy with this, but I think this is the newest one, but I'm not 100% sure. But this is 100 ml, very cool bottle. It's got the built-in sprayer right here. And Azzaro's Visit is this woody, spicy fragrance that is basically the reason why I never purchased Gucci Rush for men. And I know Gucci Rush is a little bit different, but it's kind of like this, you know, sandalwoody, cedar woody, you know, frankincense thing, which this has frankincense, this has woods, this has Gaiac wood, and it doesn't have the cypress that Gucci Rush has, but so what? I mean, for this DNA, this is perfectly fine. And it starts off very spicy with the cardamom and nutmeg and pink pepper. And apparently there's ambergris in here, or an ambergris-like substitute. And it does kind of give a little bit of that vibe. The musks in here are beautiful. It's a fantastic cheapie for me. This made my, this was very high on my cheapie list that I did. So, Azzaro's Visit, it is discontinued, but if you can find a bottle and you're not going to pay huge money, worth grabbing if you like kind of the, if you like the Annick Menardo DNA. So, what is that? 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. So that was number 8. Number 7. Number 7 is going to be... Number 7 is this little bad boy by Bvlgari. And it's the Hockey Puck. Bvlgari Black. Okay, so Bvlgari Black is... I thought it was discontinued for the longest time, but it says it's still available for purchase on Parfumo. So I'm kind of torn. I don't know, but I think it might be discontinued. It is a really good fragrance, and this is a little 75 ml that I was able to score. I do hear that the older formulas, again, are better. And this is basically this leathery, there is some sweetness because Annick Menardo uses that amber and vanilla in the base just to perfection, but it's never overdone. I can easily wear this. It is very similar to Midnight in Paris. Midnight in Paris doesn't have that rubber-like vibe. Look at the rubber outside of the bottle, and it'll kind of give you an idea. Midnight in Paris to me doesn't have that rubbery vibe to it. But I think they do both have tea, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think they both have some sort of a tea note. Midnight in Paris has mate tea, and Bvlgari Black has green tea. So there's going to be some differences here and there, but they're both completely unisex to me. Even though Midnight in Paris by Van Cleef & Arpels is marketed towards men, I think it's both completely unisex. But for a designer leather, okay, this is not for the leather this is not for the person who loves the old school leathers like me. Like if Bel Ami is your favorite leather like it is for me, you probably won't like this as much because it does have this designer-esque vibe to it. But if you like the designer leathers, this is an amazing creation. And nothing was, in 1998 when this came out, there was absolutely nothing like it. It took Van Cleef & Arpels something like 12 years after this to put out Midnight in Paris. And Midnight in Paris didn't last as long. It got discontinued very quickly, which I still cannot believe Van Cleef & Arpels did that. So, number 7, Bvlgari Black. Number 6, I don't have a full bottle of this, and there could be an argument to be made that this could be even higher on the list because of the influence that it had on the fragrance world. But for me, I have to put it here. This is Bois d'Argent by Dior. And the reason it's here and not any higher is because this, to me, kind of like was the signal. It was the lighthouse far in the distance that, you know, this mixture of amazing iris and amazing ambrette is going to come together. And that's the biggest thing with Dior Homme, is this mixture of iris and ambrette, and it began here. And so this has all kind of amazing notes. It's got myrrh, frankincense, patchouli, that amazing Florentine iris absolute, which Dior uses in many different fragrances of theirs. It does have this muskiness to it. There's a white musk, there's a leatheriness to the base, and there's a honey aspect to this fragrance. It almost feels slightly honeyed, and yet it also feels very powdery. And maybe that's the reason why it's not higher for me. This feels much more powdery, woody and powdery than Dior Homme does. I much prefer wearing Dior Homme, but I have to give this credit, and that's why it comes in at number 6, because of the influence that it had on future fragrances. This was like the, you know, this was like the mentor of Dior Homme. You know, this really took that fragrance in. The very next year, Dior Homme came out. Bois d'Argent came out in 2004. Now, I have not smelled Guerlain's Bois d'Harmonie. That's on my list, my to sniff list. But Bois d'Argent, it is an amazing fragrance. And if you're going off of, you know, fragrances that kind of change the game, that could easily be considered her best work, because that DNA took Dior on an entirely different route. But for me, it has to be number 6 because I enjoy wearing some of her other creations even more. Okay, number 5 is my scent of the day for Halloween. And I decided to wear something different than what I've worn the last couple Halloweens. And this is Lolita Lempicka Homme Masculin, the original from 2001. And this is an amazing creation at number 5 because the anise in the top for a designer is stunning. If you like anise fragrances, if you like the old school, you know, Azzaro pour Homme, if you like the anise and stuff like Le Bleu, you know, if you like the anise and those type of fragrances, I would highly urge you to check out Homme Masculin if you can find a bottle. The anise is stunning, but it also has this ivy note, which is very rarely used. There is an ivy note in a couple other fragrances like Beach Hut Man by Amouage, which I've discussed. There's an ivy note, believe it or not, in Luciano Pavarotti. And this is absolutely stunning. It's rum, violet in the mid, with a note of orgeat syrup, okay? And orgeat syrup, interestingly enough, is this note that comes from sweet almonds, sugar, and usually rose water or some sort of orange flower water. And it does have that almondy-like vibe to it. I think that's kind of the missing link for me. Orgeat syrup is something that I really didn't understand before what it was, and once I really kind of dug into it and did a deep dive on the note, it made perfect sense. It's like the missing link of Au Masculin. It's a shame this is discontinued. I love again, Annick Menardo does this so perfectly. I love that resinous. There's this cistus vanilla tonka thing that she does so well mixed with woods. And again, it's like her signature base DNA. It's so good. So very, very good. It's a shame it's discontinued, but perfect Halloween scent. Lolita, Lempicka, Au Masculin. Okay, so the next scent on the list, number, what is this? 4. Number 4 is the flanker. It actually beats out the original. It's Au Masculin Eau de Parfum Intense. And Au Masculin Eau de Parfum Intense is basically the original, flanker of the original, and it's a true flanker of the original. It's not just, you know, how some flankers kind of go in a completely different direction. No, you can smell the original Au Masculin DNA inside of this Eau de Parfum Intense. But what's amazing is that they've added oud, myrrh, so it's more resinous, okay? The myrrh makes it even deeper and darker, more into the oriental side of things. And the star of the show, the absolute star that no one talks about, this is such an underrated fragrance, is the iris, okay? So she used that beautiful iris in Bois d'Argent in 2004. Here in 2015, they brought her back, and she brought this iris note back. And, you know, this deserves so much more love. It's just a shame it's discontinued. The beautiful star anise, or anise at the top, is still there. It still maintains that Au Masculin DNA, but I enjoy wearing this even more. I think the iris adds this level of posh, you know. I love iris. If you know me, iris is one of my favorite notes, and here it's absolutely stunning. Okay. Top 3. Number 3. This almost made number 1. I went back and forth, but I ultimately had to put it here. It's Dsquared Potion Eau de Toilette. And this is a very unique fragrance. You know, actually the Angelica in the top reminds me of the Angelica used in Royal Oud, interestingly enough. And I did some research. This came out the same year as Royal Oud. Royal Oud came out in 2011 by Creed. This came out in 2011. And this has Angelica, mint, thyme, gentian, pepper, rose, cinnamon, amber, cashmere wood, musk, and patchouli. And I love the transitions of this fragrance. It's discontinued, unfortunately. Sometimes if you wear it in the heat when it's too hot, it will have this milky-like vibe. I know there was a Frederick Mall that kind of had that baby milk kind of thing going, but this is better to me. I love this stuff. I'm a huge fan. Shame it's discontinued. Again, I love wearing her fragrances in the cooler weather, but Dsquared Potion Eau de Toilette or Eau de Parfum, it doesn't matter. Don't have to go for one over the other, but Eau de Toilette is the only one that I have. Okay, top 2. Number 2 is going to be Jaïpur Homme Eau de Parfum. Okay, so this is a Oriental, spicy Oriental, and oh God, what a fragrance this is. I can't believe that this is $20 or $30 or whatever it is. You know, this fragrance could today sell for $300. I mean, if you put this in a Rouge bottle, who knows what you could sell this for? You might be able to sell this for $1,000. It's so good. The spongy heliotrope in the top with the spices, and you would expect with a name like Jaïpur, maybe there would be a little bit more spices, but Annick Menardo sticks to her gun. She sticks to her DNA, carnation, jasmine, rose, the cinnamon and vanilla combo again, which is I love the way that she does that mixture of cinnamon with that resinous base. Ditto with Dsquared Potion. And here it's benzoin, clove, patchouli, tonka, and cedarwood. And the difference between number 2 and number 1 is the eau de toilette. I used to think I preferred the eau de parfum, okay? However, I've tested the eau de toilette longer now, okay? Now that I've had it longer and I've had a chance to test it, and the eau de toilette is the winner for me. And here's why. It's a lot more citrusy in the top, so there's much more focus on like the lemons, the lime, the bergamot, stuff like that. And even though it still has that resinous base, someone left a comment and said, it's like Eau Sauvage from the 60s, that citrusy Eau Sauvage, mixed with Jaïpur Homme, the eau de parfum. And even though I don't think the citruses in the top smell anything like Eau Sauvage, I know exactly what he means by that, because it does have this, it offers this vintage masculine vibe. The citruses in the top offer this vintage masculine vibe that's missing from the eau de parfum. Now, I have no problem wearing the eau de parfum. It focuses more on the oriental side and more on the florals, more on the jasmine, more on the carnation and stuff like that. Here, it's more on the citruses, okay? It's more on the fresher side of things, which I think makes it more wearable, especially in a state like Texas where it's hot 9 months of the year, and it makes it more masculine, traditionally masculine. So I'm really digging the eau de toilette. Lots of bergamot, you know, lots of nutmeg, and it's just stunning. The spices, the florals, the clove, the woods, the resins, the ambery benzoin base. Oh, I'm a huge fan. So we're almost at an hour. Thanks for watching my ranked Annick Menardo Perfumers portfolio. Thanks for watching my unboxing. Thank you to everyone who sent me stuff. All of the amazing samples, the bottles. Honestly, you guys are awesome. It is a blessing to have subscribers like you to start out a channel with. Thanks to everyone who supported me. And do leave a comment below. I love interacting with you guys. So thanks to everyone who's liked, subscribed, commented, all that good stuff. Cheers, guys. Have a great day. Bye now.